All right, 9:30, and we are live. Welcome to the channel. My name is Nate the Lawyer, and today, it's funny because I didn't think we would have another drop of evidence come out after, you had the Tuesday, then you had Wednesday, so we had those little three, but the Peacock Network, they gave us the first half of the interview. So they dropped that yesterday. So if you had Peacock in the streaming service, they put that out there so we can see it. And in that in that preview, that 23 minute preview, they dropped the secret evidence, the new evidence that is supposed to let us know that this whole thing was that Amber should have won and that we shouldn't have any issue. So we're going to look at the secret evidence, what it all means, how it all put together with the evidence that's already been adduced. So this is going to be a different type of video. Since they're trying to put in evidence or put evidence out there to essentially fool us, let's be very strategic of how we evaluate it, how it fits in the overall picture, and I'm going to just let you decide what it means for you, right? I'm not going to tell you if it's BS or not, just let you decide what it means for you. So let's go over what was dropped, how we got here, and how it fits into the big picture. That's the plan for today. So first, let's talk about what happened. So in the trial, the big issue the big issue in the trial is when did the abuse start, right? When did the abuse start? And all of the new secret evidence deals with that issue, when the abuse started. So first, let me just give you the facts. I'm going to give you facts. These are the facts. Fact number one, Amber Heard testified in both the UK case and here in the Virginia case that the first incident of Johnny actually being physical with her in an abusive manner was in 2013. Now that's extremely important. The first incident of abuse was in 2013. Okay, so we all understand. Now, she testified to that under oath in the UK trial, and she also testified to that in her deposition, and she also testified to that in the Virginia case. So we have 3 times she testified to the first incident of abuse. And now I'm going to play that first incident which she testified to so you can hear how confident she is about this first time. So you're going to hear it not from me, but you're going to hear it from Amber Heard herself. So let me pull up that clip right now. Now, this is one of the few times where Amber was very consistent with her testimony. She was very, very consistent with her testimony. So here it is. This is when she testified initially. This is her initial testimony in the Virginia case about when the first incident of abuse. Let's watch it.
In that first year.
Do you remember the first time that he physically hit you?
Remember,
Yes.
this is
Please tell the
2013.
jury about it.
It was it's seemingly so stupid, so insignificant.
You are the jury, so
Oh,
please
never forget it.
pay attention to this. This is very important.
It changed my life. I was sitting on the couch and we were talking. We were having a normal conversation, there was no fighting, no argument, nothing. And he was drinking.
I'll never forget. She's testified to this 3 times under oath
I
already.
didn't
So this is
realize
the
at
3rd
the
time
time,
she's
but
telling
I
this
think he was
story.
using cocaine because it was there was a jar of cocaine out on the table. I realize that sounds weird, but it was like an actual vintage jar of it. But I didn't see him use it at the time, so I didn't really factor that in. I just, he's drinking and we're talking and there's music playing and he's smoking cigarettes and
I know
we're
people are like,
sitting
this is
next to each other on
uncomfortable.
the
We
couch.
can't watch it. This is important.
And
To understand this
asked
new
him
evidence, you
about
gotta watch
the
this.
tattoo he has on his arm. And to me, it just looked like black marks. I didn't know what it said. It just looked like muddled, faded tattoo that was hard to read. And I said, what does it say? And he said it says wino. It says wino. And I didn't see that. I thought he was joking because it didn't look like it said that at all. And I laughed. It was that simple. I just laughed because I thought he was joking.
Remember, we had all
And
the memes from this one, too.
slapped me across the face.
Slapped me across the face.
And I laughed. I laughed because I didn't know what else
I'm actually going to play this a little faster.
do.
Let's do it
thought
on 1.5. Oops.
this must be a joke.
Turn the subtitles on.
This must be a joke
Turn subtitles
because
on.
I didn't know what was going on.
Playback speed.
I just stared at him,
1.
kind of laughing.
Let's
still,
speed up a little bit.
Thinking that he was going to start laughing too to tell me it was a joke, but he didn't. He said, "You think it's so funny? You think it's funny, bitch? You think you're a funny bitch?" And he slapped me again. Like, I wasn't clear. It wasn't a joke anymore. And I stopped laughing, but I didn't know what else to do. You know, I didn't know what to do. You would think you would have a response, but I, as a woman, had never been hit like that. I'm an adult, and I'm sitting next to the man I love, and he slapped me for no reason, it seemed like, and I missed the point. It was that stupid. Second slap, I know he's not kidding, but I don't know what else to say or do, so I just stared at him. I didn't say anything. I didn't react. I didn't move or freak out or defend myself or
Don't worry, we're
say, "What are you
getting to
doing?
part
You're
4.
afraid." I
Relax,
just
relax.
stared at him 'cause I didn't know what
We're
else to
listening
do. And he slaps me one more time.
to her testimony from
Hard.
the beginning. So, just so we're all clear, what we're seeing here, she's explaining to us the first time where she said abuse happened. And on top of that, she said she'll never forget it. Remember at the earlier? I'll never forget it. I know. And she's gone into great details about the tattoo, what it was about, where it was stated, right? She remembers it as clear as day. And this is 2013, people. So remember, that's her testimony in front of the jury. Now, this testimony occurred right before the break. So remember, we had those 10 days in between the trial where the judge had to go into things. So this was right before the 10-day break. She goes on and says this, right? So remember, very important. The UK trial, she went and testified under oath. Everything started in 2000. The abuse started in 2013. She went to the depositions. Abuse started in 2013. And she's talking here again, 2013. So it's very consistent all the way through. Steph said this made zero impact on me because even if they're genuine, it's still just her word to the so-called therapist that has zero credibility. Well, we haven't even gotten here yet. Let's not get this. Steph, don't jump the gun on me. Don't jump the gun on me. This is important that we understand the logic train. So we're here, right? So she's testified to it 2013, and you've seen exactly how important that testimony is, right? She's right into it, right? So now, after she gave this testimony, right, then her PR team did something very interesting. They then leaked this photo to TMZ. Let me make sure we're back here. So they then leak this to TMZ. So this is the photo. Remember, so she testified that happened 2013, and then she goes and leaks this photo to TMZ. And this photo is this. This is her with the bruise on her lip and the sign that says, "I shall return." And she told TMZ that this photo was proof that this happened in 2013. And here's some physical evidence. Now, the first thing is, why wasn't this presented in a trial? Well, the reason why this photo wasn't presented in a trial was for one major reason, is that during the discovery phase, the Amber Heard's team didn't turn over this picture to the other side. So they came late in the game and said, hey, we have this picture of this bruise from 2013 to corroborate what Amber is saying. So the court said, well, listen, you can't bring it in, after the discovery phase and just try to surprise us. This is not coming in. So this did not come in. So Amber's team said, well, okay, we can give this to TMZ. So TMZ got this photo and they said, publish it to show that Johnny, is lying and that he did this. So now let's see. So let's just hear, because TMZ did a podcast and they're going to explain to you why this is a podcast. They're going to explain to you now. Harvey and the crew are going to explain. Let me move this forward a little bit. Why they had issues with this. Let me make sure.
Pause right.
All right. So this is TMZ's podcast. Now they're going to explain to you what happened when they got this photo and why it's important. Listen to what TMZ says.
Right now. However, we got a photograph of Amber Heard with what looks like a bloody lip. And she wanted to show this to the jury. Her lawyer certainly did. And the judge said no. And the reason is because she testified about an incident where she says Johnny hit her and split her lip. And then they wanted to submit this photo. The problem is that in these trials, there's something called discovery. And that means each side has to trade information on what they've got.
Which is standard operating procedure. It's usually done before the trial.
It always is done before the trial.
Of course.
And so this wasn't produced. Johnny's team objected, and the judge said, you're right. This should have been done during discovery. So we're not going to let you submit the picture. So we got the picture. And it does appear to show a bloody lip.
Split lip, yep.
However.
And her holding a little note, right?
There's an issue.
Timing.
And
Well,
we're not talking. This is not a joke about comedy.
Right.
The first rule of
The first rule of
very
comedy.
important,
No.
but listen,
This is also
listen
the first rule
carefully.
of trials.
Yeah,
And evidence.
So
Yeah.
there's a problem because remember, Johnny Depp sued a tabloid in the UK.
Right.
And he said in that trial, that this was defamatory, that they would call him a wife beater and all that. Amber testified in that trial.
Right.
And she testified about this incident. And she said that the first incident of violence occurred in 2013.
Which was wrong. Sounds like, that's what she's saying now. That was actually wrong about that.
Right.
So, just to be clear, see, so they've also recognized that she's testified everywhere. The first incident of violence was 2013. Let me let them continue.
But in the UK, she's testified under
Yeah, so
oath
she
that
was
the,
under
the
oath.
violent relationship,
So-
the violent aspects of the relationship started in 2013.
Here's the problem.
We get the metadata
And
of this photo.
the metadata of the photo shows
Is 2012.
2012.
And her team is now saying, oh, she got the date wrong in the UK trial. She meant to say 2012. She got her therapist records now. So that's what they're trying to kind of clear up.
Which, by the way,
Can
is
I-
possible. Abuse
Sure,
victims
that's-
don't operate along a strict chronology. They deal with their abuse. It comes back to them in
Sure.
ways they may not remember timelines. However, in a trial, which is largely dependent on a group of
Credibility.
unknown people believing your story,
Right.
and credibility is everything, these things begin to mount. That's why we looked at the makeup palette and when
Yeah.
the makeup palette came up.
So, just to be clear, so you guys don't think I'm trying to BS you. So, she testified in all these places. It's 2013. Put this picture out. TMZ looks at the metadata for the picture. Let me put the picture back up. They look at the metadata for the picture. It's 2012, and Amber Heard's team comes back and says, "Oh my God, we were mistaken in the UK trial, in our depositions. Matter of fact, even in this trial, right? It was 2012. How could we make such a mistake? How can we make such a mistake?" So they tried to clean up said mistake. Let's listen to them in this trial, in the Johnny Depp trial, now tell the jury that all the testimony that when she said, "I'll never forget, I know for sure, it's not possible for it to change," right? I know for sure when this happened, the first time, who would ever forget it? Now you're going to see, again, this is not about a trust. This is about them, what they're going to show, what I'm going to show you now. This is Amber Heard on the stand being questioned by her attorney about this incident. Here we go. Boop.
I wasn't hit so early in the relationship and still stayed. He was
Here we
also
go.
sober
Sorry,
for a
let me
period.
gotta scroll it back a little bit, make sure we get it. So remember, this is now them coming back from the first, remember that long break? So now all this has happened. She's testified 2013, consistent with all the past. She shows the photo to TMZ. TMZ calls her out like, "Yo, that was from 2012. That's not relevant. You said everything happened in 2013. So this is now them coming back after the 10 days to explain the mix-up, right? What really happened? Why are the dates wrong? So let's listen to what they say. Again, it's important to understand this context. This is not what they're going to give you on NBC.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being so punctual this morning. I appreciate it for the early start. All right. Just a reminder,
Slow
Mr. You
this
still
down.
your oath, okay?
All right, next question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Amber, when did the first act of physical violence by Mr. Depp occur?
Objection asked and answered.
Now Camille's going to chop this up because Camille, they know they got her. So Camille's going to make it hard for them to get this in. So you're going to hear a lot of objections, good objections, but they're eventually going to get to it.
Overruled. Go ahead.
It would have been early 2012.
And how did you determine this?
I reviewed my therapist's
Objection,
notes.
hearsay.
Well, hold on. Let's go back to because it was a little choppy. Let's go back. She said, when was the first incident of abuse? 2012.
I appreciate it for the early start. All right. Just a
listen to
reminder,
it
Ms.
again.
Hurt, you're still under oath, okay? All right. Next question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Amber, when did the first act of physical violence by Mr. Depp occur?
Here it is.
Objection asked and answered.
No, overruled. Go ahead.
It would have been early 2012.
And how did you
2012.
determine this?
I reviewed my therapist's
Objection,
notes.
hearsay.
She hasn't even answered it, Your Honor.
All right, I'll allow the answer.
By reviewing my therapist's notes.
Objection,
All right,
hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
She can't.
Your Honor, but it's not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted. It's explaining what she
It's
looked
hearsay,
at.
I'll
Elaine.
sustain the
It's
objection.
hearsay,
Okay.
Elaine.
When did you earlier believe the first act of physical violence occurred?
Well, I had always believed up until recently that it had started later, that the violence started around early 2013, not early 2012.
2013.
Now, you testified earlier that the first act of physical violence by Mr. Depp related to the Winona Wino tattoo. Do you recall that testimony?
I do.
Okay.
yeah.
Does that change your testimony, realizing that this is earlier? Was this in fact still the first act?
Objection, leading.
Yeah.
Sustained.
What was the first act?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
You see? So now they're trying to clean it up. They're trying to get the jury to believe, hey, even though we've been telling everybody for the past couple of years it was 2013, we need this jury to believe it's 2012 to get in some evidence, right? That's what we need. So here we go. Here we go.
How do you remember the first act of violence?
Well, you never forget it. That's how I remember it. It changes your life forever. You never forget the first time someone hits you like that. I just had the date wrong.
And how is it that you think you got the date wrong?
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled.
I'm embarrassed to say I think I would have liked to have believed that the period of time in which I had to fall in love with Johnny, in which we fell in love and he was sober and he wasn't violent to me, lasted for a lot longer than it did. I think I would have liked to have believed that I wasn't hit so early in the relationship and still stayed. He was also sober for a period in 2012, which was a peaceful time for us, in which we fell in love. So I had kind of allowed myself, I guess, to forget that the beginning of that period, 2012, before he got sober, was really violent and chaotic as well. I'm embarrassed to say that.
Now, you testified that the police were called multiple.
So just so we're clear. So now you've seen the change, right? It was 2013 in the UK, 2013 in the depositions, 2013 in her testimony just a couple of days ago. Now she's coming up and saying, guess what? All that time I was saying 2013 happened to be wrong. It was 2012. 2012. Okay. So now that leads us into the therapist notes. Now, they've been teasing these therapist notes a lot. They've been teasing these therapist notes a lot, right? Because they want us to believe these therapist notes credence to this 2013 argument, to this 2012 argument. And let me show you that Elaine essentially was going around with this talking point all week, right? Saying, hey, this is, 2000, we have these therapist notes. Here she is on, what's it, CBS? Here she is on CBS. Let me pull this up so you guys can see it. So here's Elaine at CBS prepping us for this drop, right? They're prepping us for this drop. Here she goes.
We
This
even
is
had
after the
more
trial's
evidence.
over.
We had medical records. We had mental health records that went back to 2012 that were contemporaneous. We had text messages.
So that's a 2012 contemporaneous. So she's like, all right, we had medical records from 2012. Those medical records she is alluding to are these therapist reports. Let me pull up when she said it again on NBC. So here's her on NBC again saying the same thing. She's telling us they got these records that weren't allowed into the courtroom that would have changed the game. Right? This is evidence that wasn't allowed in. Here she's again on NBC.
And they were able to suppress the medical records, which were very, very significant because they showed a pattern going all the way back to 2012 of Amber reporting this to her therapist, for example. We had significant amount of text.
So you see the talking point, right? We had medical records. We had medical records. We had medical records, right? So that's what they had. So now, last night, in this longer sneak peek, if you had the Paramount, what's it called? Paramount, whatever that their streaming service is. Let me open this up so you guys can see it. Well, then they drop these records. And I want to show you how they dropped it. Now, they dropped it on this. So let me now share the evidence, the new evidence. I'm sorry, Peacock. I said Peacock. I said something else. Peacock. So let me show you. I said Paramount. Yes, on Peacock. So let me show you the evidence they dropped on Peacock. Here we go. Boop. So this is the evidence drop. Thank you. This is on Colonel Klutz too. So I gotta put her name in the description because she's been dropping this. So here we go. I'll make sure this is so you guys can see it. Boop. Yep. So here is the new evidence drop. Here's NBC dropping it. So listen, people, this is it.
Which could have bolstered her case.
Oh, let me go back.
Not to believe a word that came out of my mouth. But Amber and her lawyers say there's evidence the jury didn't get to see, which could have bolstered her case. Amber's lawyers are sharing it publicly here for the first time. There's a binder worth of years of notes dating back to 2011 from the very beginning of my relationship that were taken by my doctor, who I was reporting the abuse to.
That doctor was Amber's therapist at the time. We looked at notes the doctor took during some of their sessions, which show that as far back as 2012, Amber was talking about physical abuse. In January of that year, she told her therapist Depp hit her, threw her on the floor. 8 months after that, he ripped her nightgown, threw her on the bed. And in 2013, the therapist's notes say he threw her against a wall and threatened to kill her.
Her notes represented years of real-time explanations of what was going on.
Entered into evidence.
The judge ruled those notes were hearsay and inadmissible.
Now, I do want to say they are not giving the judge, they're not going to explain to you why the judge didn't admit those, but there's a reliability issue on these notes, right? Because you've had someone testify that the first incident of abuse was 2013. And not only were they testifying to it once, right? They testified to it under oath in the UK. They testified in a deposition. And then they also testified in this trial that the first time it started was 2013. So now if you say, well, I want to bring in therapist notes that says that I'm lying, it was actually 2012, and you don't really have the therapist, well, they are out-of-court statements, offered for the truth of the matter asserted, and they're not reliable. It's just not reliable, right? Because you yourself are saying they're not reliable, right? You said that this stuff didn't happen. Matter of fact, you were extremely confident, right? You said that there is no opposite way. I'm extremely confident. You'll never forget. Those are her words. You'll never forget the first time it happened. Looks like she forgot. and looks like she forgot the date. And NBC is telling us, is like, hey, here is her secret evidence, but they're not giving you the full context. Like right now, I just gave you the full context. This is what she said. This is how she got caught, but they're not going to give you that, right? They're looking to sell this story. So here's the rest of it. Let me let it play out.
Depp's spokesperson told us it's unfortunate that the defendant and her team are back to repeating, reimagining, and relitigating matters that have already been decided by the court. Amber plans to appeal, and
so that's essentially her secret evidence that she's going to now promote to the world, that Amber Heard, if the jury would have seen these doctor's notes. Now, they actually go back to 2011. So if they would have seen these doctor's notes or these therapist records, it would have convinced the jury that she was credible, she was telling the truth, and that she was abused by her husband. But that goes against all the evidence that she's put forward before in all the other cases. It's a problem. And they're, again, not doctors' notes. That's her self-reporting things to her therapist. Now, there's also been some talk in the town that she may have personally wrote these because they couldn't get the therapist to come testify to these notes either. So there's a lot of issues with these notes. But what the team is out, what obviously what Amber's team is doing is because they couldn't get these unverified, untrustworthy notes in front of the jury, but they can get them in front of us. They give them to NBC, and NBC sends it to the millions of people in a way to try to change, obviously, the narrative to say, well, look, these couldn't come into court, but they can come to you, and these are 100% legitimate. And again, even in this piece, you heard nothing about, well, didn't you say for like almost, 3 years that it happened in 2013? And then all of a sudden, in 2012? What do you say to that? People are going to not believe you, right? That's the challenge. That's how I would challenge her. Let me get to some of these super chats because you guys have been so generous. I want to get some of these super chats. Secret evidence, huh? Well, this is the secret evidence, right? These are the therapist notes. AH trial has case law plus fiction instead of facts. Yeah, it's got crazy how the other long clip where you hear her crackling at Johnny. She didn't get slap punched out of her. She didn't get slap punched out of her, but she gets slapped over a tattoo name. That's true. Yeah. The wino, right? Remark says, hey, thanks for joining the super chat. Nate, man, I've been lurking for over a year on your channel. Your discipline to logic and understanding is why I now default to you to correct the MSM, mainstream media. Thank you for being an awesome human in this effed up and confusing world. Thank you for the generous super chat. I appreciate it. But again, I just want to just get people out to let people see it for themselves. This is the story, and now I think people have the full context on what they're trying to do. I tested positive for COVID, but ain't no damn way I'm going to miss Nate. This is MAGA country, the lawyer. Love you, bro. Love you too, bro. Thanks, Blake. Thanks for the $4.99. Even if the photo is real, it is proof of nothing other than her having a split lip. But don't forget, the issue with the photo is not just the split lip. It's the timing. She's saying that photo represents abuse that started in 2013. She even told TMZ that, right? This is a photo of abuse that started in 2013. The only reason why they've changed the date is because when TMZ cracked it and said, no, that doesn't represent 2013. That's 2012. They had to change their whole story and their whole timeline to match that. And now they've changed their whole litigation strategy, right? They went into court and changed that timeline in court. That's it's crazy. Having a split lip, that can happen in more than one way. Yeah. And they know that, and I think that's why they're scrambling now. At this point, a blank duct tape to her foot. Yeah, she keeps knocking it down to her foot. Yeah, the interview are these interviews like contracted? Yeah, leave before it finishes. No payment. Footage will be used no matter how you feel after. Can can they be clauses? Yes. If you sign a contract you can definitely. And I believe she probably, she could have gotten paid for this, but I'm not sure NBC's policies. But if she didn't, then she made a mistake because people would have paid her for this interview. So you now know what happened early 2012, but you say he had a sobriety in 2012, that you fell in love. Hang on. I need to grab my other keyboard because I have worn out my X for down button. yeah. And you guys, again, I'm literally just showed you the timeline and showed you what they're trying to do. Amber, babe, we don't believe you. Well, again, this is the evidence. This is her grand finale. This is my evidence to show that I was actually happy, and it happened since 2011, 2012, even though I said this was happening this started in 2013, and I couldn't. And we'll hear it again. We'll hear that clip again to show you how confident she was in saying, I use doctor and therapist anonymously. Yes, true. She's not a doctor, she's a therapist. So Amber trying to win an argument with social media. Two toxic entities going at each other. Amber might have met her match. Yeah. And again, that's the gaslight, right? The big gaslight here is that Amber Heard, has been telling everyone who can hear. This started in 2013. They got caught lying, and now all of a sudden these miracle notes come out and say it's actually been happening since 2012. And you saw how they tried to clean it up. Also, the therapist is only transcribing what Amber told them. Yes, that's another reason why I didn't come in, because one of the exceptions for hearsay is whether it's in furtherance of medical treatment. And she's just telling her therapist stuff, so it couldn't overcome the hearsay. So that's another reason why it was out. No need for them if Amber can testify to what those events were. But again, she's trying to testify to what those events are. But the problem is that she's told everybody they happened in 2013, and they didn't, allegedly, from her perspective. So it makes her even out more to be a liar. Are the notes actually from a therapist? Who knows? That's the reason why they're untrustworthy, unreliable, and contradict what she said, right? She's saying this happened in 2013. It's not just she said this just once, people. She said she's made the claim that this abuse started in 2013 over multiple times and under oath in multiple different cases and multiple jurisdictions, right? That's what she said. And now she's trying to backtrack it. She's essentially saying she lied under oath in the UK. She lied under oath in her deposition, and she lied under oath in this particular case. And they had to clean it up later. That's essentially what we have here going on. Nate, you need to be brought in on this, man. Bull business, and tell them what's up. Thank you for all you do. Thank you. I'm just showing you the evidence. You see it for yourself. Thank you for the 20. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super sticker. Question: anyone covering the interview live tonight? I'm going to be covering it. I'm not going to be covering it live because I don't want to I don't want to kill their thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the interview and then chomp it up so I could just see some of the parts that we haven't seen, because I don't think we should go over everything unless there's something new. So I'm going to see if I can cover it tonight. I'm thinking about trying to do it at 9, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Because if we can't get it at 9, I'll probably just do it Saturday. But we are going to cover that hour-long interview. Good morning, Nate. I'm joining late. I'm not sure you spoke about this, but the PhD therapist is a mandated reporter. Why wasn't it reported? Who knows? But again, it's come out of nowhere, and they don't match the evidence that she induced at trial. Remember, she had all these people say 2012. Her therapist thought it was 2013. Her therapist, she told everybody 2013. So this 2012 thing it's manna from heaven. It appeared out of nowhere. And that's all because the picture they gave the TMZ, the metadata that TMZ got off that picture was 2012. And they had to scramble. Oops. Therapists aren't mandated reporters. See, I didn't know that. Therapists for IPVDV in California. But I know anytime you talk about for children, yes, they are. No matter where you're at. They are mandatory reporters for children. I've had to take the training myself. The therapist wasn't required or allowed to report without patient's consent. To do so, just checked. Thank you. See? Now we know they're not mandated reporters. Light Giver says, Amber Heard and Tessa Van Ray were together for 3 years since 2008. They were in a domestic partnership, but the two separated in late 2011 or early 2012. following some allegations from Van Ray. Yes, and the arrest. Remember, the arrest was in 2008 for domestic violence for Amber Heard. Amber broke my X button. yeah. BSB says, Amber Heard, I just want to move on with my life. This is not moving on with your life. This is trying to gaslight us. And someone like me who's watched, remember, I've watched the whole trial. So that's the reason why as soon as they brought this out, I saw this last night, I was like, this is easy to disprove, right? It's easy because you know, this is what you said, right? You don't have this writes itself. This story writes itself. The further analysis appreciated, extremely concrete. Hollywood. Oh, you hit the ebook. Let me read it. Yorkshire Publishing, available at Amazon. Thanks. No problem, Art. Norman Jr., the author. Wouldn't her therapist have been mandated to report it? We just heard that they're not for adults. They are for children. So we just heard they're not. Now I know why she wished she was in the trunk of the Civic. At this point, I think we all are. Yes. And again, this is what you're going to be seeing tonight. This is the evidence that, that wasn't allowed in, right? That the judge, she's making it seem like the judge was so biased and everybody was so biased. They didn't allow this critical evidence that showed that she was telling the truth. But now we know why. And that's the issue. See, you come here to figure out why, right? You hear the story. Why? Here we know why. Always remember, the mainstream media supports Amber. Amber believes the opposite of what always believe the opposite of what the mainstream media tells everyone, because they are clearly liars. Yeah, I think here maybe they well, again, we don't know what they're doing in this interview. Maybe in this interview they'll go back and they'll say, you know what? Let's do it this way. Let's challenge. Maybe Savannah's going to challenge her on this point. Like, well, hold on. You said under oath like 3 times it was 2013, and all of a sudden you're saying it's 2012, which is true. Were you lying then or you're lying now? And then she's going, I cleared it up in court as I testified too. But as you could see, that testimony was a disaster. That trying to clean it up was a disaster. Nate the lawyer, is this what AH was writing in court? Maybe. Right. Good morning, Nate. My hubby, Nate. I look forward to your vids, lives, and contagious laughter. We've been spoiled this week with this new drama unfolding. Thanks for all you do. Thank you. Yeah, you've been spoiled because, again, I like to have fun, but I also like to do the legal analysis, and I think that's what this is more, right? This is more legal analysis. How does this new piece of evidence that we found fit into the overall picture? And now I think everybody here is clear. How we see how it fits in. This is a gaslight. Thanks for the $2 super sticker, Felicia. I appreciate it. Question: didn't see entertain many people. How can we even confirm that, even if she got the injury, that was JD did it? That JD did it. That's true. Amber Heard has risky behavior that she could have gotten SADV by anyone. Again, that's the issue, right? Did she suffer this bruise? But the timeline is all messed up. And essentially, just so everybody understands exactly what's happening here, they couldn't get it in because the timeline was a mess. But now, since there's most people who are going to watch this and going to watch these interviews, don't understand the full context, the full time, how she's changed the story, right? If they understood this, then these therapist notes become a lot less convincing, because you see what she's trying to do. It's obvious. So she's gone girl therapy records. She did. She essentially did. She seems like she's gone girl to therapy records. She seems like she's this. When the interview and would the interviewer and Amber know that? The question and answers before the interview, like it is scripted, or will we catch her off guard? I don't know. If I'm the interviewer, that's why she's not coming here for an interview, right? Because I got it, right? Well, here's what you said at the trial. You said it was 2013. Here's when you cleaned it up, right? 2013. So now you want us to believe it's 2012 now? Matter of fact, the picture that you gave TMZ that you said was 2013, they looked at the metadata and found it was 2012, right? So now all of a sudden, you want us to believe that these therapist notes that can't be verified are from 2000, say it happened in 2012, and on top of that, you've said it 3 times under oath? And don't forget, they're the ones who are going about saying, look at the UK trial, look at the UK trial. Well, if we did look at the UK trial, then you lied to the UK about donating the money. You lied to the UK about when the first incident of abuse happened. Do you really want us to start looking at the UK trial? Nate, if a therapist had this info, would they be would they be lawfully against the law for not telling law enforcement about the incident unless they knew she was lying? But again, it really depends. Okay, just so everybody understands, mandatory reporters are for some instances, but generally they deal with children and people who can't report things on their own. When it comes to adults and people of sound mind, you generally, they generally have to you have to kind of self-report, or you have to report. So I'm not sure. We just had someone earlier with a super chat explain that for adults it's different than it is for children, and for therapists it's different. I think there's some mandatory reporting for like gunshot wounds and things of that nature, because I've situations like that, but I'm personally not sure. And right now there is some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. I really can't call it. So, but from my experience, generally no, they wouldn't be mandatory reporters in this. But I think there's enough questions about the authenticity about these notes and the timeline of events where it just seems extremely untrustworthy. This is Julio Cesar says, what are your thoughts on how the rest of the interview will be? Watching the recent one, it seems they are pushing a narrative. By the way, thank you for your insight and laugh. It's contagious. Thank you. I think the rest of I want to see if they're going to push back on this new imaginary evidence, right? They've brought this new evidence. Are they going to push back? I would push back, and you see the way I would push back. I would say, well, this is what you put out there. Is this accurate? So I'm not sure. Savannah's been pushing back, but we just don't know. We're going to look at some more of the interview too. Let me just get through a couple more of these super chats, and we're going back to the interview. Question: Wasn't there rumors she wrote the therapist notes? Yes. So let me go to Twitter. Again, so now I want to make it very, very clear. Right? We got to make this very, very, very clear. What I'm about to show you is unverified and unvetted by me. I need to say this again. What I'm about to show you is unverified and unvetted by me. I absolutely do not know if these are made up. I am not making that claim. These are allegations, but I think they're important. It's interesting enough to actually show you the allegations that were made, that are being made, and the support behind them. But again, I absolutely do not know this is true. This is just what has been put out there in the ether. And since they're putting things out there that seem to be unverified, I'll put exactly what's the counterpoint to them so you guys can see it. So let me go to Twitter and pull this up, because now you guys are making me go pull up the Twitter stuff. But it's good though, because I actually a lot of the angles that you try to find for these stories do come from Twitter. So this is Orange Sparrow. And let's look at some of this. So let me make sure. All right, so we're at Twitter. Let me share this screen so you guys can see this. Oh, remove this. StreamYard, you got to get better with this. StreamYard, you got to get better with this. All right, so let me pull up this right here. Boom. All right, so this is my Twitter account. People are sending me messages like crazy already. Don't worry, I'll get to them, people. And this is, let's pull this up. So this is suspicious similarities between Amber Heard's handwriting and her therapist notes. Pay particular attention to the way the E and F and TH is written. So they are highlighting the handwritten therapist notes. So these are the handwritten therapist notes. This one is 22nd of May, 2015. So they're doing this handwriting analysis of it. So this is one. Let me make sure you guys can see it. Do I have this on screen? Yeah. So you guys can see it. So they're doing this handwriting analysis, right? And let me pull up the better picture, the better view of this. This is essentially what they got. So this is the R's. So they're doing a handwriting analysis. I don't know how good this is. I'm not a handwriting expert, but the people are claiming that these therapist notes may be doctored. Do I know? Hell, I don't know. But take this for what you will, right? The therapist notes, people are saying that may not be authentic. And also there's some issues with maybe, she could have written them, and the similarity between handwriting, people are saying, is something that should be recognized. So again, I don't want to make it seem like I vetted that. I just don't know. But I do think it's important that we do know that that Amber Heard has dramatically changed the timeline and is trying to convince us that these therapist notes are the smoking gun to change the story. Let's listen to some more of the TMZ interview recording about this. Oh, let me move it up.
Saying
Here
now
we go.
that I was actually wrong about that.
Right,
Well-
but in the UK, she's testified under
Yeah, so
oath
she
that
was
the,
under
the
oath.
violent relationship,
So-
the violent aspects of the relationship started in 2013.
Here's the problem.
We get the metadata
and
of
the
this photo.
The metadata of the photo shows
Is 2012.
2012.
And her team is now saying, oh, she got the date wrong in the UK trial. She meant to say 2012. She got her therapist records now. So that's what they're trying to kind of clear up.
Which, by the way,
Can
is
I-
possible. Abuse
Sure,
victims
that's-
don't operate along a strict chronology. They deal with their abuse. It comes back to them in
Sure.
waves. They may not remember timelines. However, in a trial, which is largely dependent on a group of
Credibility.
unknown people believing your story,
Right.
and credibility is everything, these things begin to mount. That's why we looked at the makeup palette and when
Yeah.
the makeup palette came up. That's why
But
we're looking at this photo.
to
These are big problems for her in terms
to your point about credibility, to this photo in the juries, it doesn't matter about credibility. This photo is not before the jury. This photo is just.
Oh, but
it's-
guess what?
No,
I think it's going before the jury.
I don't think so.
Now, this photo never came in before the jury, but Harvey thought they would bring it in to impeach. So just so everybody is up on this. Now, I think their team believes that we're going to forget that this actually happened. I think their team is hoping that we just don't remember that she made these points, that she said 2013, for instance. But now this is as clear a picture as any, that the new evidence that they've put forward seems a little iffy at best, right? Iffy at best, because she's literally changed her timeline. Thanks for the $20. Thanks for the 20 pounds, Connie. Let's get some more super chats. If she wants the therapist's notes admitted, then her previous arrest for DV should be allowed. Her chronic lip bleeding creates spot that looks like a cut. I heard a lot of people saying that too. Nate DeLorda, wouldn't Savannah, as a lawyer, know about the hearsay? MSM misleading the public again. She would. And again, I want to be clear. She may give it up to us, right? She may say, hey, here it is, right? This is it. You know, she may challenge her. We don't know. That's the full 22-minute teaser. So we'll see it. Call me skeptical, but from the first tease, AH reactions were too calm to respond to direct challenges like that. Both parts scripted. I hope I'm wrong. We'll see. Because we're going to watch it. You know we're going to watch it. Devil's advocate. Isn't it plausible she misremembered the exact year, given how long ago it was? Well, so let's take this. So she misremembered it when she was in the UK trial, right? 2013. And she did the whole thing. 2000, I'll never forget. It was 2000 and the events and exactly what happened. So let's give it to her. She misremembered it. And likely the therapist's notes are fake since it contradicted what she said before. Let me see. Is it unlikely the therapist's notes are fake since it contradicted what she said before? But I think you leave out one important point, is that they, right, when they gave TMZ, they gave the court that picture, 2013. Court said, well, that picture, you can't get it in because you should have given this up. Let me put the picture up. So just so we can understand the timeline of events, because I think you're right. I think this argument could be made. But let's now match it with the evidence that's been presented. So this picture was put up and said this picture was supposed to show that everything started in 2013, and she presented it both to the court and to TMZ as this happened in 2013, right? Here's the picture. TMZ goes and says, well, the metadata says 2012. They look at the metadata, 2012. So then all of a sudden, how do you now, because she's testified 3 times under oath that it happened in 2013, or 3 times, right? And you got this picture that says 2012. So how do you get this picture, and how do you change the timeline? Well, all of a sudden, we got therapist notes that say 2012. So it's weird that therapist notes have come in on the timeline. That doesn't make any sense, right? That doesn't make me believe that they're accurate. So I do agree. She could have misremembered, but if you misremembered in the UK, and if it's true that this whole thing has been misremembered, how can their legal team let this mistake about the first time any type of abuse happened for the whole like 4 or 5 years? Did not someone from the legal team say, let's look at the therapist notes? When did this happen? Are they anything like we'd have to essentially assume that her attorneys are so incompetent that they didn't put a proper timeline to say this actually started in 2012. They didn't look through this evidence and say, hey, your therapist said the first time he did anything to you was 2012. We've been saying it's 2013 for the past 5 years, right? Nobody ever looked at that stuff. And again, it wasn't even the attorneys they said looked at it. It was her. Amber said, I looked at the notes and, oh my God, it's 2012. So, in a vacuum, I think you could make that argument. But when you line up everything together and the timeline and when things came out, this just, it seems like, to me, again, this is my opinion, it doesn't seem like it adds up at all. And maybe other people will feel differently. But to me, it doesn't add up at all. Question. Wasn't it brought up in court that she reported the nurse for not reporting DV? Yes, that was brought up. That's definitely was brought up. Food for thought. Has anyone thought that maybe she or he preferred or enjoyed rough blank activities? Yeah, I don't know. I don't even want to ponder on that. Joshua says, hey Nate, you have great content. What are the consequences for repeating the claims of defamation after they have been disproven? We're going to hear her essentially repeat all the claims of defamation. What evidence can be shared publicly when the case is going to appeal? Should share publicly when the case? Well, everything that's in evidence can be definitely shared for appeal. And if they, but generally you can't provide any new evidence to the appeals court. It's about what's in the case already. So this new evidence the appeals court is not going to hear. You're going to hear some people, now there are going to be some people out there telling you that, right? They can provide this new evidence to the appeals court. No, that's not happening. What they can do is say, well, here's the evidence that, if they showed it to the judge, here's the therapist notes, and the judge said you can't bring in the therapist notes, what happened here, then the appeals court can judge whether those therapist notes should have came in or not, and then the appeals court's going to have to determine whether that would have changed the outcome of the case. So that's the way it would definitely work. But any new evidence that they want to bring in that wasn't before the court, it's not going to happen. Thank you for that. The real Laura B. Oh, I think that was Barrister. Hey Nate, the lawyer. The lawyer. How you doing? For my little friend, hey, Black Belt Barrister, I'm good. You see, we're breaking down the new evidence and how it fits in the bigger picture. But thanks, Black Belt. We got to collab. Me and Black Belt, we got to collab. I didn't know. I'm thinking this should be done in a little while. So we still got some more to go through, people. So be patient. Let me get to some of these super chats, and we're gonna go and listen to some more of the full interview because they've given us a little bit more, and then we're gonna hear her essentially defame Johnny Depp again. She's straight up defamed him again. There's no way that you can watch this interview and say she can't sue her for defamation again. It's clear. She's like that's definitely going to happen. It's just like she's literally saying it again. So the real Laura B has a good tweet thread on the therapist notes. Okay, I got to check that out. Thank you for this, Nate. She seemed like he is smirking in that picture with the note. Yeah, that note says, what do you think? How credible do you believe that picture is against her claim? I honestly don't think the picture's credible at all. Because don't forget, when she presented that picture as a 2013 picture for this, and it was only when they looked in and found the metadata that the picture wasn't from that time frame that she came clean and said it was actually earlier. So it's not credible. And if you look at the picture, it doesn't seem, it's matter of fact, I think the TMZ guys said something about it. Let me pull that up. Let me pull up what the TMZ guys said, because they did mention about this this picture and what they felt about it. So I'll let you hear what they felt. Listen to this.
So man,
No, you're missing the point.
Let's assume this jury is not going to see this because they shouldn't be seeing
No,
this.
you're missing my point. They are going to see it.
Why?
Well, that's what he says.
To make her case. But that mean in cross-examination, submit it. I don't know at the time they tried with it after she, explained it.
Sounds like they're going to impeach her either way. So,
but they're going to use the photo. They will use the photo next week.
Two things I want to say about this. One, this photo, yes, it shows her with a busted lip. Was it as a result of Johnny? I have no idea. Her holding up the sticky note saying "I'll be back" and supposedly that was written by Johnny Depp. That looks so goddamn staged. It looks so staged to me. It's like, hey guys, look, he wrote "I'll be back." Like, are we actually buying this? Let's just be honest about this. The reason this photo is out on our website is because Amber Heard is losing the trial in the court of public opinion. That's what's really happening. And I think that's all she and her team care about. Who cares about the actual trial?
Well, she does because look, it doesn't matter how much money Johnny gets. If Johnny asks, he's asking.
So you see, I didn't even have to say it, right? TMZ said it for us, right? It doesn't seem credible, especially now that you know the background to it. And now those therapist notes are on top of this. So first it was this picture, now we got therapist notes that are surprising, Again, you make your own decisions. If she were a better planner, liar, JD would be in prison. Facts. AH never loved JD, and luckily, was more like Fatal Attraction instead of Gone Girl. Let me do this because I have some other people who want to join. Let me see. So I think uncivil law. Should I let other people in? Because some people wanted to join me, but I like this one man show thing in the morning. Let me see. Let me drop a link in law too, to see. So we might have some more law tubers coming in while we go through this. So I'm gonna continue control. I see your text messages, guys. I'm sending them out, sending out the link. Everybody wants to see the new evidence. All right, link. Send a link. Here you go, brother. Uncivil law is got the link. I'll send it to Andy too, just in case if he wants to drop by. And my Law 2 brethren, live now. All right, so everybody's got links, and oh my God! All right, listen, thank you guys, but you're blowing up my DMs. I see the stuff coming. Gotta see, but again, I can't just put things out until I like to vet, until I vet it a little bit. So thank you for all the information. I am going to read it. But there's a lot coming in right now. So yes, people are very excited about this, and I'm extremely happy that you guys really amazing that you guys are here and are watching this, because at first I was like, I don't know if I should even do this, but I really appreciate you guys being here and seeing the way I think, because I didn't want this to be funny, because people have been saying, Nate, you're being too hard on poor Amber and her lies, and I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me just do this so we can essentially do it so it can work. Do you know that Heard's lawyers have presented a new motion to seal certain documents and witness testimony in the Fairfax County Court prior to appeal? Yes, Lauren Lumber covered that, but he practices down there, so whatever he says, I'm going to go with. I'm going to watch his video and look at it himself, but Lauren Lumber, he's the one that covered it. Very good. Like, that guy's a fantastic attorney, Lauren Lumber. So, yeah, so he's definitely covered it. So, but he's going to go over that because he knows the local rules there. Again, that's one thing about a good lawyer, is that you got to know what you don't know. So when I don't know, I tell you, I just don't know. Why do I feel like she's been trying to entrap him or build a case against him for their entire relationship? That's what what did they call? That was his security. That's security, and that's why the security started taking those pictures and stuff. All right, we're about to get into the longer session, but I wanted to get out the evidence piece first, and let's get into the longer session in a second. Why not have the therapist testify? Would notarized or sworn therapist notes be as credible evidence? Who knows? The therapist, who knows, right? The therapist, she has therapist notes. I don't know why the therapist is not testifying. That was my first question, just bringing the therapist. But then there would obviously be some issues with that too. In California, mandate reporter can be for an elder or a child. Yeah, somebody who can't report for themselves. That makes sense. And DV. They say DV. And all kinds of criteria. The victim doesn't have to be told that it's being reported. The notes should have been reported. But again, is it medical records? Is that like, there's a whole bunch of things with this. So again, I want to be very clear. I just don't know. So you could be, what you said could be 100% correct. I just can't because again, I'm in New York. I'm not in California, and we're talking about California law. So I'm one of those people. I just don't know. Different in New York. New York, yes, there's mandatory reports, but Who knows what it is in California? I don't. I got to look Legal Bites, because Legal Bites is from California, so I can ask her. But I'm not even sure if she knows, because you got to be in the space. Would the notes not need to be authenticated? Yes. With the therapist? Yes. Would there not need to be notes indicating associated injuries to make it more than just a story? Yes. That could be made up. Yes, exactly. And that's the reason why it wasn't allowed in for hearsay, because it doesn't fit within that exception. Oh, Nate and Eric, don't forget, subscribe to Nate and Eric. That's our reactions channel with me and Eric. We're going to be going over some of this stuff too on Nate and Eric. So if you guys are willing, just Google Nate and Eric, and it'll pop right up, and you'll see my face and this wonderful guy's face. And we have some videos about some of the stuff coming out today. So Nate and Eric for the win. Thanks, Eric. Thanks for reminding me. Add this up. Wendy's Cafe says, add this up and see what conclusion you can come up with. Recording of the alleged abuse starting prior to marriage, fights, not about not having a prenup. Interesting. You're right. I think you're right. A.H. stated she didn't reunite with Johnny until mid-2012 after they broke up with their partners. So when could this have happened? She says early 2012. Early 2012. So... Hey, Black Belt, if you're still around, if you want, I'll send you a link. Just send me a DM on Twitter, and I'll grab you. I'll ship you a link if you're interested. We're gonna watch the rest of the thing. After the marriage fight about her not being in the will, continued recordings of alleged abuse. Drew and AH taking a text message about using knives and threatening JD fake abuse calls to therapists. Wow. Yeah. It's a good point. It's a damn good point. I think she was trying to set him up from the beginning, but who knows? Let me bring in my friend and brother on civil law. What's going on, man?
What's up?
Have you been watching the madness?
I have not been watching the madness. I'm going to do a reaction as soon as this one is done myself on my own channel. And I'm looking forward to responding to the full 20 minutes of whatever BS that Amber Heard has. I did catch long enough to note that apparently some people are speculating that these notes might have been written by Amber herself because of handwriting issues, which is kind of hilarious.
well, obviously, I'm not sure how far of this you've seen, but the Amber Heard testified in every trial, from the UK to the deposition to even this trial. She testified that the abuse happened in 2013, and she could never forget the first time, and it was 2013.
I remember that. I remember it to the point where Richard Hogue was having like PTSD responses to even mentioning 2013 because it got mentioned so many times. Richard Hogue was like for a while there on the 2013. Yeah.
Well, just so we can beat this horse to death. Here is her 2013 testimony. Let's just so we can see her flail like a fish again. So this is what she said in 2013, because you weren't here. So just to catch you up.
In that first year. Do you remember?
All right, so here it is. This is what she said. Let me put this up. Now the chat has heard this. I'm going to speed this up so we don't have to listen to every single second of this. So this is going 1.5. Here it is.
Remember the first time that he physically hit you?
Yes.
Please tell the jury about it.
Remember, this is 2013.
It's seemingly so stupid, so insignificant. Oh, never forget it. It changed my life. I was sitting on the couch, and we were talking. We were having a normal conversation. Just there was no fighting, no argument, nothing.
Remember, this is where the memes come from.
And he was drinking, and I didn't realize at the time, but I think he was using cocaine because it was like there was a jar
of cocaine
out on the table. I realized it sounds.
I've got a jar of cocaine.
An actual vintage jar of it. But
I'm just going to get a mason jar and label it
cocaine. That in. I just
put it on my shelf.
And we're talking, and there's music playing, and he's smoking cigarettes, and we're sitting next to each other on the couch. And I asked him about the tattoo he has on his arm. And to me, it just looked like black marks. I didn't know what it said. It just looked like muddled, faded tattoo that was hard to read. And I said, what does it say? And he said it says wino. It says wino. And I didn't see that. I thought he was joking because it didn't look like it said that at all. And I laughed. It was that simple. I just laughed because I thought he was joking. and slapped me across the face. And I laughed.
So that's when she goes into the Johnny, you hit me, that type of thing, right?
The B.
So, yeah, so that was the whole Johnny he hit me. So that was before the break. 2013, they put that picture out of her with the split lip, and so we went over the picture thing. But let me show you. Then this is them coming back to clean it up. So this is them now after finding out that, hey, she testified to this 2012 thing. In every other trial, she said it happened in 2013. So now this is the next day she had to testify. They had to clean it up. So listen to him clean it up. I don't know why she wore the Dr. Evil outfit. This was like a bad call.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being so punctual this morning. I appreciate it for the early start. All right. Just a reminder, Ms. Hurt, you're still under oath, okay? All right. Next question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Amber, when did the first act of physical violence by Mr. Depp occur?
Objection asked and answered.
No, overruled.
It would have been early 2012.
And how did you determine this?
I reviewed my therapist's
Objection,
notes.
hearsay.
She reviewed it, not even her lawyer.
She hasn't even answered it, Your
All
Honor.
right. I'll allow the answer.
By reviewing my therapist's notes.
Objection,
All right.
hearsay.
I'll sustain the
It's
objection.
not hearsay,
Your
sir.
Honor, but it's not offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted. It's explaining what she looked at.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. When did you earlier believe the first act of physical violence occurred?
Well, I had always believed up until recently that it had started later, that the violence started around early 2013, not early 2012.
No, you testified earlier that the first act of physical violence by Mr. Depp related to the Winona Wino tattoo. Do you recall that testimony?
I do.
Okay. Does that change your testimony, realizing that this is earlier? Was this in fact still the first act?
Objection, leading.
Sustained.
What was the first act?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained.
How do you remember the first act of violence?
Well, you never forget it. That's how I remember it. It changes your life forever. You never forget the first time someone hits you like that. I just had the date wrong.
And how is it that you think you got the date wrong?
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled.
I'm embarrassed to say I think I would have liked to have believed that the period of time in which I had to fall in love with Johnny, in which we fell in love and he was sober and he wasn't violent to me, lasted for a lot longer than it did. I think I would have liked to have believed that I wasn't hit so early in the relationship and still stayed. He was also sober for a period in 2012, which was a peaceful time for us, in which we fell in love. So I had kind of allowed myself, I guess, to forget that the beginning of that period, 2012, before he got sober, was really violent and chaotic as well.
So now you see the issue, right?
Yeah.
You see the issue. Now we got one more thing that I got to show you.
I also now understand the chat in Legal Bites' frustration with me and Richard Hogue having not seen the stuff before, because now me having know everything I know and watching it for the second time, it hits me a lot differently than it did the first time. So I am now a lot more sympathetic to the chat where they're like, where they're saying she's obviously lying, she's obviously manipulating. Can't you see it? Because so many of them knew so much coming into it from various things in the past where I didn't. So they were basically viewing it for the second time, as it were, as it was happening. And now I'm looking back and I'm like, oh yeah, no, it definitely hits you different when you know what you know.
Yes. But but I think we do have to now this is the part that you came late for. Sorry for everybody in the chat, but and this for new people, who's coming by and looking at this. So remember, so she testified, and then she testified 2013, and then they gave TMZ, and then, well, you know what? They gave TMZ this photo and said, hey, this photo was from 2013. They told TMZ this is from 2013, and it shows she has a bruise on her lip with this picture from Johnny that says, I shall return with the exes. And that this proves that he did this in 2013. But now I'm going to let Harvey Levin from TMZ explain to you why that is a problem.
Is because she testified about an incident where she says Johnny hit her and split her lip. And then they wanted to submit this photo. The problem is that in these trials, There's something called discovery, and that
Yeah.
means each side has to trade information on what they've got.
Which is standard operating procedure. It's usually done before the trial.
It always is done before the trial.
Of course.
And so this wasn't produced. Johnny's team objected, and the judge said, you're right. This should have been done during discovery. So we're not going to let you submit the picture. So we got the picture. And it does appear to show a bloody lip.
Split lip, yep.
However.
And her holding a little note, right?
There's an issue.
Timing.
And
Well,
we're not talking. This is not a joke about comedy,
Right?
The first rule of
The first rule of comedy.
right.
No. This is also the first rule of trials.
yeah,
And evidence.
So
Yeah.
there's a problem because remember, Johnny Depp sued a tabloid in the UK,
Right.
and he said in that trial, that this was defamatory, that they would call him a wife beater and all that. Amber testified in that trial,
Right.
and she testified about this incident, and she said that the first incident of violence occurred in 2013.
Which was wrong. Sounds like, that's what she's saying now. That was actually wrong about that.
Right,
Well-
but in the UK, she's testified under
Yeah, so
oath
she
that
was
the,
under
the
oath.
violent relationship,
So-
the violent aspects of the relationship started in 2013.
Here's the problem.
We get the metadata
and
of this photo.
The metadata of the photo shows
Is 2012.
2012.
And her team is now saying, oh, she got the date wrong in the UK trial. She meant to say 2012. She got her therapist records now. So that's what they're trying to kind of clear up.
Which, by the way,
Can
is
I-
possible. Abuse
Sure,
victims
that's-
don't operate along a strict chronology. They deal with their abuse. It comes back to them in
Sure.
ways they may not remember timelines. However, in a trial, which is largely dependent on a group of
Credibility.
unknown people believing your story,
Right.
and credibility is everything, these things begin to mount. That's why we looked at the makeup palette, and when
Yeah.
the makeup palette came up. That's why
But
we're looking at this photo. These are big problems.
So now you understand. So what do you think? Let's get your reaction. What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think about these therapist notes now? Because the therapist notes now that have magically happened, manna from heaven, they corroborate that story. That it's actually 2012, even though she said 2013.
I don't understand why she wouldn't have had the therapist notes prior to her UK testimony. Presumably, she could have gotten them. If they're her notes from her psychiatrist, so she could just, ask for them, and that would have given her access to the dates. So why is it a surprise to her now?
Who knows? But now those therapist notes and I'll play the end of this so you get to see it. But now the new secret evidence that they want to put forward is obviously the therapist notes.
Secret
right?
evidence is best evidence.
Oh yeah. So the new secret evidence, or the best evidence, is the therapist notes, right? Because now they're saying, well, the therapist notes prove all this abuse. So I'll play that for you so you can see that. The therapist notes. So this is what she's going to be saying on Dateline tonight. And
I don't want to watch too much of this Dateline interview.
Oh no!
because I
This
do wanna-
is
okay.
this is literally just the end part.
All right,
Just to
fair
go
enough.
with this. So we're not gonna.
All right,
Because I know
good.
you're doing.
Because
you're doing the whole-
I want to
you're
do
doing
a
the whole
fresh
22
reaction.
minutes,
I want
right?
to do. Yeah, I'm absolutely doing the full 22 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I want
I'm not
to
doing
do
the
a
full
fresh
22 minutes.
reaction to it.
Yeah, I'm not doing the first full 22.
All right, fair
There's
enough.
evidence the jury didn't get to see, which could have bolstered her case. Amber's lawyers are sharing it publicly here for the first time.
There's a binder worth of years of notes dating back to 2011 from the very beginning of my relationship that were taken by my doctor, who I was reporting the abuse to.
That doctor was Amber's therapist at the time. We looked at notes the doctor took during some of their sessions, which show that as far back as 2012, Amber was talking about physical abuse. In January of that year, she told her therapist Depp hit her, threw her on the floor. 8 months after that, he ripped her nightgown, threw her on the bed. And in 2013, the therapist's notes say he threw her against a wall and threatened to kill her.
Her notes represented years of real-time explanations of what was going on.
Entered into evidence.
The judge ruled those notes were hearsay and
They are.
inadmissible.
Yeah, correct.
Now, essentially, I don't want to spoil it too much for you, but that's essentially where we're at. And on top of that, the reliability of these notes was in question because of you've always testified it's 2013. Now all of a sudden you're saying it's 2012. It's like, you'd essentially be impeaching yourself, right? And that's when they came out, and you saw the testimony when they tried to clean it up. They tried to get those notes in, but the judge was like, it's still hearsay, right? And they didn't have the therapist testify. So that is essentially what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, it's hearsay. Anything you say, anything you're self-reporting is hearsay.
Yeah. So, but now, so what do you think about this new secret evidence? Do you think it's going to change the game for a little bit, or
I really
do you think
hope
it's just a little bit more?
I really hope we get these binders. I hope the binders get it released in PDF form, because it will become my version of the unbreaded. We will read a page from them every single day forever, because it's just too hilarious.
But my thing is, how does she think that we're going to, like, I think she really thinks that we're just going to believe this no matter what, right? I think she thinks that we're going to believe this, just like, you know what I mean? It's just like, what the hell? Does she really think that we're so stupid that we're going to believe this? You know what I mean? It's starting to. At this point,
your credibility is kind of zero with me, Amber. So I'm not believing it from you. Where is her therapist? Why isn't her therapist part of this interview? Why don't we get her? Why don't we? I mean, that'd be at least helpful. For years, Amber Heard reported this to me. These are the notes I took. That'd be good. I mean, it's something more. I'm not taking her word for it. It's still hearsay, but at least I believe it actually happened. That'd be nice.
All right. So now I'm glad I have you here, because I found this fantastic video. I want you to react. I want you to react to with me. It's hilarious. You guys are gonna love it. Let me talk about some super chats so we can watch this video.
My soul is prepared.
Yeah, just be prepared. Be prepared for some chuckles. We're gonna be chuckling a little bit. So the notes we used in the UK case. So wouldn't she have known in 2012 by the trial started?
This was what I was saying. Why didn't she have access to them? Apparently, she did have access to them. So why is she getting the date wrong in the U.S.? Because she never forgets the first time you're hit, except for the fact she does.
Who knows? She could have got the split lip from her relationship with.
Also, on just a
cause. Hold on.
Where she's like, I saw this on her. I apologize. I saw this on him with these black marks. I didn't know what it was. Like, did you not know he had tattoos there? Did you never seen the Winona Forever tattoo? I mean, how'd you not know? Okay.
Don't ask too many questions, because it's going to confuse yourself. Also, Amber has a habit of picking her lips for years.
Yes.
Interesting.
I understand, because I bite the inside of my lips, so I understand.
Soul says, I'm a therapist. We don't write notes like that.
Maybe you're just not the right kind of therapist.
Which therapist is it? Why didn't they testify? No one knows. This miracle, I'm assuming.
Maybe some therapists in their notes have a less clinical style and more of a romancy style of their notes. I mean, hey, if it works for them, I guess. Who am I to question?
Why didn't she call her therapist like Johnny? Who knows?
That'd be a good question.
Laura says, thanks for the $4. $5. I get misremembered, but wouldn't her lawyers or even Amber be diligent enough to proving all the evidence in the UK trial? And her depo super sus. Yes, if I'm a lawyer and my client is telling me something and gives me a timeline, I check the timeline, right? I check the timeline.
It'd be a good thing, double check, yeah.
Oh, there's Barrister right there. Sorry, let me ship him the link. Sorry, did he send me it? Oh, matter of fact, he might send me a message. No, I haven't gotten one. Nope. Black belt. Nah. Sorry, Black Belt. I didn't get anything from you as of yet. I'm looking for it. All right. Send me a DM, because I'm live right now, so it's going to be hard for me to find you up. But yeah, I just don't. I don't know what's up with that. With that. Why they didn't do their due diligence? It's either incompetence or something else. I just don't know. Could you invite a handwriting analysis, Eric Hunley? Eric Hunley's probably going to go through the handwriting analysis and go through it. Eric Hunley, that's the guy you want to go get that. There are some on YouTube that already analyze AH's writing. I'll actually check this out. Definitely.
It turns out
that
turns out that she wrote these notes, which I'm not beyond that being true. which shows how little faith I have in her credibility at this point. But if that turns out to be true, I'm like, you gotta be fucking with me.
Elaine says, "Can you say a quick hi to Neil for me?" Hey Neil, what's going on? Uh-oh, Alexis, I got just triggered Alexa. Hey Neil. Tug just dropped a new video that you should watch. I'm definitely gonna. I watch all his stuff, so I'll check it out. Love you, Nate. Thank you, Bernie. Thank you. I appreciate it. Isn't there a TerraSoft law when there are threats of killing? I believe so.
Yes.
I believe so. Question: have you seen the photos showing that Amber picks her lips? Yes, we saw that with her fingers and nails. Seems to be a nervous habit. Yes. Definitely. I've definitely seen that. Nate, how much you want to bet the ACLU is paying her bills? I could be wrong, but mark my words, if she fails on the appeal, along with the ACLU, will take it to the Supreme Court, citing free speech as an issue.
Not a chance.
Possibly, I don't know.
Not a chance in this world.
The ACLU will be on it?
Well, they might do that, but there's no chance in the world the U.S. Supreme Court takes cert on this garbage. Even if they wanted to re-examine the issue, this is not what we call a good vehicle for the issue. So, no.
Barbara says lip filler can cause lips to be dry and split. Didn't know that. Every other photo she I think is admitted with the bruised lip. The cut was on the right side of her face, not the left side. Interesting. I had to check that out. Dr. Hughes had access to the notes of the therapist. Could testify. There were loads of options. And Dr. Hughes also said the 2013 thing, too.
I mean, Dr. Hughes' testimony was all hearsay. Well, apparently that was okay.
But it was all 2013, too, though. So don't forget, it's not just her. Dr. Hughes was like, the first incident was 2013. So everybody's saying 2013. All of a sudden now,
2012.
Yeah.
Those are like the same year.
It's contradicted Amber. Yeah, it contradicted Amber.
I still think it's 2012. I mean,
16,000 people, only 2,500 likes. Come on, people, help me out. Oh,
that is unacceptable. Every one of you needs to like this video right away, or you are morally in the wrong. You are taking all this great value from Nate the lawyer, a highly educated, entertaining, and dare I say, sexy lawyer, and you are taking all this for nothing. You are morally obligated to hit that like button and help him grow. Subscribe today.
Oh, thank you so much. Let me see if I got Barrister. Nope. All right, you people are. I love how people are trolling me now. So I'm like, oh, Black Belt Simeon on Twitter, and like my DMs are now filled up with people. Hey, I'm Black Belt Barrister.
If the subscribe button is red, it is red because it knows where you live and it's coming for you. Click the red subscribe button to get it to stop.
Thank you, Vanessa, for the $20 super sticker. Nate, PSA under the domestic violence section in California, therapists are mandated reporters, psychology info. Okay, thank you, Nate. See, we're getting fact checks. So now we got a lot of different sources. I'm going to stay away from California law because I don't want to get in trouble. But I believe you. That sounds like it's right. And I'm going to look that up. Hi from Portugal. If she uses an iPhone like it was said in trial, there should be no confusion on when the photo was taken. There is no confusion. It was taken in 2012. That's why the whole timeline has changed. It literally shows it on the phone app. She's full of it. There is no confusion. Everybody knows that photo was taken in 2012. That's why the story has changed. Then AH says she got in her car and left at the first alleged slap. And so, yes, she did. And she was breathing on the window. So why she have a note from JD saying he'll be back? Sus. It is sus. That's true. It is sus. If those notes are real, they aren't clinical. So they aren't clinical. They should be admissible. They shouldn't be admissible. Sorry, I can't read now. They shouldn't be admissible. It's not our job to keep a running tab of their transgressions. That's why the therapist wanted no part of this. I'm assuming so too. I'm assuming the therapist is like, listen, I'm not even going to get involved. Do what you want to do. Here are the notes. Good luck. This is proof they spoke.
I've already had to deal with your bullshit for this many years. I'm not getting further involved.
This is a good question. Is this proof that they spoke to AH over the break about a testimony? Because now she's coming in saying, oh, the timeline.
No. They absolutely spoke to her after the break. I mean, that was clear because that whole cleanup session
Yeah.
It was like there was no way that they didn't speak to her after the break because she knew the answers. There's no way that she knows the answers unless they do the cleanup. There's no way that I mean, just on a technical level, there's no way that she knows what they're asking for. But she knows exactly what they're asking for. She knows exactly the right answer to give. There's only one way that happens with prep. So yeah, they definitely talked to her over the break in some form or fashion.
Yeah. They definitely talked.
They might have pushed the ethics line a little bit, but I'm not saying they did anything unethical, because that's a whole nother set of problems. But they might have pushed the ethics line a little bit.
Peggy says, California, you only report on children and elderly, handicapped, not required for cup for capable person. You could put a client in danger in a relationship. So no, you're not mandated unless you have permission and a safe exit. See, again,
that sounds right.
That sounds good. I know in New York there's some rules like that. That's why I say California law. I got somebody who's convinced me and gave me a link. What you're saying makes sense because that's kind of the way it is here. So again, and this is why again.
I mean, the standard rule for mandatory reporters is, well, twofold. TerraSoft, if you have evidence that basically someone's a imminent lethal threat to somebody.
Correct. Yeah.
So you got that, and short of that, but that relates to future harm in TerraSoft. In the future, they're intending to harm you. That's TerraSoft. If we're talking about past harm, which is DV or SA or against that kind of thing that happened in the past, that's mandatory reporter. That only kicks in typically for kids or otherwise, or really old people who can't care for themselves. Basically, people who are incapable of defending for themselves. So yes, if it's future harm, then you're TerraSoft for deadly threats. If it's past harm relating to past abuse, you're a mandatory reporter only for children or otherwise disabled persons. I think I got that right. Excellent.
I'm with you. Let me take down these next 5 real quick, and then we're gonna look at this. We're gonna do a quick reaction to this video I just pulled up. The reason the notes weren't allowed in is because they were not the therapist's own observations. They were her saying that she says Amber said to her, basically textbook hearsay. No, well, this is actually more than just textbook hearsay. This is hearsay within hearsay. So
it's inception hearsay.
Yeah, it's inception.
We're inside the dream world, and we have to get to figure out where we are.
So let me explain to you guys what hearsay and hearsay. So Amber telling the therapist something, that's the first level of hearsay. Amber told the therapist. Now, the therapist writing it down in these notes is the second level of hearsay. The notes themselves are the second level. So when you look at the document itself is hearsay, and then you look in the document, the document says Amber said this, that's the second level of hearsay. So you have to now have an exception to overcome both levels of hearsay. Now, the exception they tried to use was for medical. This was in furtherance of medical treatment.
Yeah.
I think what is it, 803B, 803-4.
Basically, business records. Yeah, fine.
Yeah, but this didn't get through those exceptions because this wasn't in furtherance of a diagnosis and stuff. And the court said that this was hearsay, and they didn't overcome both levels of hearsay. So that's the technical reason why it was left out. So yes, this is classic hearsay, but it's hearsay within hearsay, so it's even worse than just regular hearsay. The point is that I firmly believe she and her friends conspired to unalive him, and were setting him. All right, unalive him. Unalive him, and that's interesting. I've never saw that word before. And
no, they're trying to avoid saying. They're trying to avoid saying another word.
Yes. Yeah. Setting her up to make her look like it was self-defense. Yeah, I think that's what they were doing. Looks like. Then thank you, Wendy. But I think you're right. I think that's what they were doing. I think it was set up. Looks like she wrote the notes in her own fingers, her own.
Just remember, it's a hearsay exception when in the rest just the category. It said that the event is speaking through the statement. I hope that clears everything up.
Oh no, you just confused it. But AH was on the stand during the break.
No, it's just being an ass.
Was on the stand during the break and not permitted to discuss the case even with her attorneys, and obviously prepped over the break, right? And that's what Uncivil was saying. It's obvious she seemed to be prepped over the break. It's obvious, right? Because they knew those questions were coming. They knew those answers, and that's essentially what happened. My VA psych, not a therapist, write notes. It's all on the computer. Food for thought. That is food for thought. We'll be right back to your super chats in a second. Let me now pull up this video. And so this is how bad this trial went for Amber. So I want to play this because I want to get your reaction. I was laughing to this the other day, but this is going to be good. Let's check this out real quick. Here we go. So this is Camille roasting Amber's team for 23 minutes. We're not going to watch all 23. This
So,
is
Ms.
me,
Heard,
Laura.
I'm only going to.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask some questions while I'm looking at this.
Are you kidding me right now? All right, if you could give her a moment, please. Sure.
Look at her face. Look at her face.
I'm only going to ask her about text messages on the screen.
I loving it.
I'm having trouble seeing this.
She is a bitch.
This is good.
Bruh.
I split it between the ACLU and the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, end quote. Right?
That's correct. I made that statement as soon as I got a divorce and we reached the settlement. That's when I pledged it, right then.
And you say this because you, quote, wanted nothing, end quote.
That is correct.
I'm about to end this man's whole career.
But you hadn't donated your entire $7 million settlement to charity at that point, had you?
That's incorrect.
Sitting here today, Ms. Heard,
didn't
you
even know
still
she
haven't
laughed.
donated the $7 million divorce settlement to charity. Isn't that right?
Now I'm panicking.
It's what she deserves.
Incorrect.
I pledged the entirety.
No,
Of the
Ms. Heard,
settlement,
that's
$7
not
million
my
to
question.
charity, and I
Ms. Heard,
intend to
Ms.
fulfill
Heard,
those obligations.
Ms. Heard, that's not my question.
I am shook.
Please,
What was
try
your
to answer
question?
my question. Sitting here today, you have not donated the $7 million donated, not pledged,
Donated.
the $7 million divorce settlement to charity.
I use pledge and donation synonymous.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
With one another. They
But I
the same
don't.
thing.
Ms. Heard, I don't use it synonymously.
That's how
Here does-
donations are paid.
Here does
Ms.
anyone
Heard,
else on the face of this earth?
respectfully, that's not my question. Let's look at the transcript.
Here we go.
So you testified on page, I'm getting there.
So good.
Slay! 4506.
Camille's a badass.
Your testimony in this trial was, quote, I don't know if I've ever known Johnny not to wear rings.
Correct.
You need to put your microphone on, Miss Thank you.
Objection, Your Honor. Improper impeachment. If she's going to ask her a question, then she has to show where that was. And then
Overrule the objection. Go ahead.
Thank you. Your testimony yesterday was, quote, I don't know if I've ever known Johnny not to wear rings.
Walk it
Right,
back.
sir?
That's what
Walk
I
it back.
testified to, yes.
Walk it
And
back.
he was wearing rings on every finger in Australia, correct?
Not all the time, not literally every single ring, every single day.
I got her, I
often
got
most
her.
rings.
Not often, Ms. Heard. Your words are, I've never known Johnny not to wear rings on every finger.
Oh, shit.
that is what I testified to.
He testified that at the beginning portion of the video where you set up the camera,
How would
that
they
wasn't
know?
included in the video that TMC received.
I don't know what video TMC
I'm talking
received.
about Mr. Tremaine's testimony, Ms. Heard. Let's just
So you're
focus on
asking me to
Mr.
repeat
Tremaine.
his testimony?
No, I'm asking you if you recall hearing him say those words to this jury.
Yes,
Under
I
oath.
heard his testimony.
We all did.
And he testified that the end of the video where you can be seen smirking. I know you testified earlier that you haven't been smirking in this trial, but you sure were caught on camera smirking in that video.
I disagree with that.
Was also not included in the TMZ video.
Everyone can watch that video and you can determine whether you think it's funny to me or not.
But imagine how tired we are. That's because the video came from you, right, Ms. Heard?
Oh, shit.
No, it did not.
You
That
edited
video
out
did
the
not
portions.
come to me.
Ms.
Come
Heard,
from me.
Ms. Heard, you edited out the portions that made you look bad before sending it to TMC.
Yo, shout out to Meme Lord. This is amazing.
This is good. I'm having a lot of
This
fun
is
with
amazing. This
I'm
is
having fun.
amazing.
This is good. This is good.
You are very wrong about that.
So
If
that
I
only
wanted to
Mr.
leak
Depp
information, I
looked
could have
bad.
done it in a more effective way.
Wait a minute.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
a lot sooner and a lot more.
Because you
I
knew
was
exactly
living
how to
with
do
a
that,
mountain
right?
of this evidence. If I wanted to leak it, I could have done a lot more with it.
And you stupid.
I thought you testified earlier in this trial that you didn't know how to leak things.
I don't.
Did Mr. Depp play?
Just
in
pause
your
for a
getting
second, because like
He's right on fired from it.
Oh my God! Like you testified that you did not a
I
leak
could
things.
have leaked it so much more efficiently, so easily, in so many different ways. But you testified you don't know how to leak things. I don't. Okay, so let's just go over that again. It's basically where I want to go in my mind. All right, let's try this again. Let's try this
Did
again.
Mr. Depp
No,
play?
don't even. I'm just going to preempt that asked and answered objection, Elaine. I'm just preempting that asked and answered before we even start, because we're going to try this again. Okay. You said you could have leaked it so much more efficiently, right? Yes. You also say you don't know how to leak things, right? Okay. Can you spot the problem?
Listen, she's not lying. She is telling the truth. This is truth we listening to.
In this trial that you didn't know how to leak things.
I don't.
Right.
Did Mr. Depp play in your getting
I don't.
Aquaman? He's right on fired from it.
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
All right, I'll sustain his speculation.
How do you know that he tried to have you fired?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for speculation and hearsay and lack of foundation.
I'm trying to lay a foundation.
All right, if you lay a foundation.
I saw it. I saw the emails. I saw
She
the
didn't even
text.
ask a
I'll sustain the
question.
objection is
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
hearsay. Next question.
She's trying to throw it out there.
And do you recall? I'm trying.
Okay. What do you want me to do about that?
What, if anything,
Lord have mercy.
Yeah,
the
I
medical
feel you.
records reflect about your nose?
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
Oh, poor Elaine. Yo, this is
Do you
crazy.
have injuries
Oh,
to your
poor
nose?
Elaine.
Yes.
Please describe those to the jury.
I have a bunch of
Object
scar
to the,
tissue.
I'm going to object to the extent it calls for hearsay and lack of foundation
Overruled.
and improper expert opinion.
Well,
She can certainly testify to.
But she ain't got
we'll
the-
see where it goes. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
The performance of her
I
life.
have a significant amount of scar tissue in my nose.
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection.
Why is he looking at me like that?
You were here in this courtroom, right? Ms.
Oh,
Hurd
this is
and
the one.
Malcolm Connolly testified to taking this picture.
That's correct.
This is the picture. This picture shows an injury to Mr. Depp's face, doesn't it?
I disagree.
I've seen this,
is
picture.
okay, Ms. Hurd.
I've seen
I
this
got the
picture
answer. Thank
before,
you.
and
You
he's
disagree?
not injured in it.
He's not injured in this picture. That's your testimony. Fine.
This one is
Ms.
Photoshop.
Hurd.
Oh, is it now?
I
How do
have
you
your
know
answer.
that?
Thank you. This is the only photograph from your honeymoon that shows someone with an injury, correct?
That's not true.
We haven't seen any photos of injuries to your face from that train trip, have we?
I don't believe my face was injured on that trip.
We told you that this would be a performance, the role of her lifetime.
But there's like another 20 minutes of this. It's
Pretty good.
crazy.
I might just
It's
react.
crazy.
I might react to the other 20 minutes of my channel.
You're gonna react to
Wait.
this too? You see, Uncivil, you come here and steal all my material.
I will.
here.
I will steal your content for days. I'm shameless. I am absolutely shameless. I have no problem using all
Oh my
VlogTube for topic research. That's fine.
Oh man, let me take down some of these super chats before I have to get out of here. I gotta pick up children now, bro.
Okay, can you set up a redirect? Can you set up a redirect?
Oh,
to me
yeah.
Before you leave,
Hold on. Let me.
I gave you the link to redirect to in the DM and Twitter.
Put it in private chat here.
Okay, I'll do that. Hold on.
Twitter.
That's fine. I can do that too. I can be your hero, baby. Wash away the tears. You.
All right. All right. So I got it. I will.
Everything.
I will set that up right now. And now let me hit back to some of these super chats. But yeah, so Uncivil is going to. You're gonna when you start your stream.
As soon as your stream is over.
All right, so we should be over in like 30 minutes. So you're gonna go and now. So to let the people know what you're gonna exactly react to.
No, I'm going to react to the full 20-minute whatever of the Peacock Dateline interview thing, and then I probably will respond to the 20 minutes of this stuff because this just sounds too funny. So that's definitely what I'm doing. I'm doing the Peacock thing to start with, and then we're just doing meme hour because this is too fucking hilarious.
So I'm going to. So let me just knock down these super chats. You're welcome to stay. I'm going to knock down some super chats and go pick up my daughter before it gets too late. Listen, people. Well, first I want to say to the audience. Let me move this out the way. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. The piece about the new evidence, we've hammered that home a couple of times. I want to just answer everybody's questions with the super chats. You can head over to Uncivil Law's channel, who's going to go through the entire 20 minutes. I'm not going to go through the 20 minutes because I'm going to go through the whole hour thing when it drops.
I'll do that too.
So
that's fine.
He's going to do that. You're going to do that too. But I'm going through the whole hour when it drops. The piece that I thought was important because the really new piece that was there was that last piece. So you guys saw it. Let me know in the comment section before you leave out if you if you think that these therapist notes are legit and if it would have changed your mind. For me, not really. No. But let's see. Somebody might be out there. Maybe say, yeah, this changed my mind. So now we're going to have speed read through these super chats. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Kyle Mitchell. I think I remembered a former coworker of AH said she literally had a jar of cocaine. I realized they both could have this, but projection much possibly. I didn't hear that. Nor in my last super chat, Diana. I don't know what that's referring to. But thank you for the $2. AH is wrong. It was not a jar of cocaine. It was a jar of dirt. I did see those memes. That was hilarious. Nikki says, my problem is that she was fine when she came out with all of it. And JD was canceled and dogpiled by social media and dropped. But now it's her. Now that's the truth. Now that the truth is out and not okay. Not cool. Of course. This is the game of narratives. This is not the game of facts and evidence. And they're trying to play a game of narratives. But that's what this video was about, to show you they're trying to play a narrative. Amber uses her 2012 and 2013 synonymously. Uncivil, don't forget to put your link to your video in the chat so people can just go and click on it too, just in case.
Okay.
Making a savage TMZ vid now, audio heads. Boom, we'll check it out. Check out audio heads. Nurse stated that she always bites her lips. Yes, I remember that, and causes them to be split and bloody. She is lying as always. Sky, you're so true. Doesn't the line of questions after the break prove that she was talking to her lawyers about her testimony? Uncivil Law has definitively said, absolutely yes. It does. It just wouldn't make sense if not. I think she was talking to him. From Twitter, Amber Heard told everyone she donated all the money, right? Yes, she did. She told people she donated all the money. We even have that. There was a clip of that. What do you think about the similarity between the therapist's handwriting and hiding in the notes in Amber's handwriting in the Love Journal? It seems very similar. It seems identical, to be honest with you. But I'm no handwriting expert. I wouldn't know. She and JD got together in 2012, in 2012. Notes started in 2011. No, I don't know if she had the therapist before she started dating JD, so who knows? But that's a good point. Convinced that she's been scheming from day one. Seems like it.
Yeah.
Question: after the really bad incident where she was flown back to the state, why did no one around her take pictures? Proof. Why did her friends and fam not take her to the doc? Who knows? Maybe she said, no, I just don't know. That's a good question. I think AH has been playing games, cover your behind, since he asked for the post for the post-nup. Yeah, that's probably was secret evidence. Ha ha ha, priceless. It was secret evidence. What can I say? It was secret evidence. She's not going to put her license on the line for a former client that she knows displays narcissistic traits and tendencies to lie. Yes, I wouldn't. I'll tell you that. The therapist and the blank bottle are one and the same, non-existent. Just a dude. Yes, just a dude. I agree. Thank you for the $5, Rabbit. Thank you. How can she forget the date? I remember the date and time of my blank. I'm sorry that happened to you. And it has been more years than hers to remember that date. Well, we're not even talking about the date. We're talking about the year. She don't remember the year. Thank you for becoming a member.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and again, sorry that happened to you. A therapist is hearsay. Well, these therapist notes are hearsay. So, thank you for the $19 super chat, LG. This one, Dr. Hughes was her testimony on the therapist notes. She was the one that read them and looked them over. Also, Dr. Curry, so the notes did get in. Well, they didn't get in as evidence for the jury. They got in that exhibit, and Dr. Hughes can talk about them, right? I looked at these notes, right? And Dr. Hughes can also talk about hearsay. I heard these things, and it's formed my opinion. So the notes aren't in. What the notes are, they're Dr. Hughes talked about them, but the jury didn't get them. And again, Dr. Hughes, if she read the notes, the first thing Dr. Hughes should say, well, hold on, you said this started in 2012. Dr. Hughes also said it started in 2013. So none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense. The therapist missed it. The lawyers missed it. Amber missed it. And the only time they got it is when they tried to put a picture that was from 2012 and got caught. Now all of a sudden, we got these therapist notes. None of this makes sense to me. Maybe AH meant sometime in the 21st century. Possibly. I have no morals, so I'm good. Thanks for the $10 super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And the other photo of her lip, it was the other side of her mouth. So which is it? I don't know. Thank you, Zap, for being a new member. I don't know. Bonnie Jacobs was her therapist. She was on AH's witness list. I don't know why she didn't come forward then, because that would help. In Virginia, the notes are hearsay. They're hearsay anywhere. Also, would need handwriting expert to verify. No, if you get the therapist to come in and say, I wrote them, you wouldn't need that. But how do you authenticate them? And I think they may have had that problem. And the woman set him up, in my opinion. And who in the world didn't know the Winona tat? It seems like his wife didn't, right? Because she was shocked. This is tattoo? Mark Taylor, I always wonder why she uses such dark, severe, upper cheek defining makeup in the interviews and such. Always looks like bruises. Interesting. I was thinking that too, but I didn't want to say it because I was like, yeah, she's always looking, she has bruises there. But maybe that's just her thing to show those cheekbones. AH has called Johnny out to do an interview in the Daily Mail Online. She wants to move on, huh? Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't want to move on. Amber Wealthy, she had safe exits. Don't forget, if she didn't write this op-ed, she'd be good. 1 point to make. Can you photograph bruises? However, it was it JD that did it? It's that. No, I can't read. That is what needs to be proven. I'm going to read this again, a little rascal, so I don't chop it up. 1 point to make. You can photograph bruises. However, it was JD that did that. That was what needs to be proven. Split lip may be true, but was it JD? Thank Nate for the great convo. Thank you for the $10, I think New Zealand. But sorry again for me reading it so choppy. My mind is wrong. It was me, not you. But thank you so much. The therapist has a duty to report abuse. Yes, we've been struggling with that, but I got to ask legal.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure that's true in the circumstances we discussed.
New member, she takes Accutane for ache, and that
acne.
gives you acne. Oh, is that acne? Oh, I'm sorry. She takes the Accutane for acne, and that gives you constantly chapping and bleeding. I'm thinking of chaping. That's chap lips, right? Chapping and bleeding lips. She was constantly picking her lips in court, and everybody keeps saying that. But yeah, she did have that issue, and I think the nurse said she had that issue too. So they are trying to change the rules of evidence before the appeals. No, they're trying to give us evidence that wasn't. That was unreliable in court.
Yeah, and stuff that will not be presented to the Court of Appeals, and the Court of Appeals will laugh in their face. But they can be mounds of evidence, and then when the Court of Appeals inevitably isn't considered too, they can be part of the conspiracy or blah 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 whatever.
Tony says maybe she uses 2012 and 2013 synonymously.
That seems to be the case.
Oh my God, she will start her own podcast now. JD Beats.
Wow.
That's
no, I can see it happening.
Nate, could this photo actually be a part of a film she would have done? I mean, why put a note saying I shall return? But nobody even knows when that photo was taken. Well, they said 2012, but who really knows, right? That photo, these notes, it just all seems sus to me. People need to move on from Amber Heard. She thrives on attention, negative or positive. Yes, true. That's true. But hey, this is the gift that keeps on giving. If she's going to continue to destroy it, then let's just show it. So S.E. Curry wasn't hearsay, but Hughes was. No. Both were hearsay. Both experts are allowed to use hearsay because they're telling us how they came to their conclusion. So, yes. Kurt, I've really been enjoying your channel. You and Rob are great together. I'm learning so much. Thank you, Nate. Nate, great as always. Thank you. Yeah, Curry was also hearsay though. With that, and Hughes were both hearsay. They used hearsay to come to their conclusions, and they're allowed to tell the jury, "This is what I used to come to my conclusions." But it's not being offered because it's true. It's being offered to let you know how they came to their determinations. Nate is not a therapist, a mandated reporter. Right now, we have a lot of evidence on both sides, so we just don't know. She lectures the jury on the metadata and mortgages, and the public about the history of free speech, but doesn't know the definition of pledge. No, she doesn't. She knows the Greeks.
I hadn't really considered that aspect before, but yes, he wants to lecture me on the finer points of the First Amendment. Doesn't know the difference between pledge and donate. She may not be able to play on my territory.
JD and AH only started dating June, early July. Make it make sense. Yes, I know.
Make it make sense is a request just to insanity.
Yeah.
There's no hope. Give up.
With the cabinet video, why is there no one saying, "Hey, he found out you were recording him, and then he leaves and not hit you"? Were you not scared? They did ask, and the fact that he had lost I forgot how much money he had lost. There was an issue with that. Mm-hmm. Lawyers and body language experts are saying that Amber body language is a gold mine, and everyone is going to use this trial to teach. Yes, her reactions were definitely a gold mine. James in 2012 says, "It changed my mind. She went from crazy certified crazy. Now she's certified. she's now since certified. She is Nate's type." Oof. I do like him crazy. I was correcting a typo, nor turned it into a knot. All right, I got it. Sorry. Thank you for the $2. Accutane lips. Please ask anyone on Accutane lips or look up side effects. 1, cracked, bloody lips. Daughter was on it for 6 months. And lips bled entire time, and for 2 months after. Wow, thank you. I didn't know. Oh, interesting. I definitely want to look that up. As a matter of fact, hey, can you just take a quick screenshot of this, Umair? Boom. Thanks. Lips could have gotten cut from age filming. Note JD left when going out to run an errand. AH put them together and took a pic. Yes, but the pic's timeline is off. The problem is the timeline. It's the pic maybe from JD, it may just be funny, but the timeline is all off. Mm-hmm. Just wanted to thank you for your lives, enjoying them a lot. Thank you. Therapist notes must be G14 classified. The notes were supposedly written in 2019. AH reported about all the incidents. The notes were supposedly written in 2019. AH is reporting about all the incidents. Thank you. I got to check that out because that's true. Then definitely they shouldn't come in because they weren't even written with the time when it happened.
They weren't contemporaneous. I'll do it too. Yeah. That's another problem. Minor details.
Yeah. Wendy says, "I'm probably wrong here. I don't believe that doctors in any field are mandated to report abuse of DV victims unless the victim requests they report it to the authorities, HIPAA laws, and doctor-patient confidentiality." That's what I'm thinking. But again, this is just not my field of law, so I wouldn't know. But this is a very good point. And that's exactly what I was thinking too. Go ahead. You want to say something about this?
No, I was just about to say, HIPAA is not as expansive as people think it is because HIPAA, by its own terms, pretty much doesn't apply to state law. Require a state law beyond that. It's a privacy with respect to medical records, but state law can supersede it by HIPAA's own terms. Yeah. So it's not quite as all encompassing as some people seem to think.
But there are privilege issues though that may have
to there's those issues, but those privileges, of course, are a matter of state law too. That's true. It all kind of eats itself at the end of the day.
The lip photo was proven to be a hoax. We kind of just did that. Those were not chunky rings on JD's fingers. They were metal scars from his scissors removal surgery. The fingers for scissors. Mm-hmm. Miss Mikael says, "Why are the trial videos gone from all of the LawTube channels?" my YouTube suppressed them. Mine are still up. I'm not sure. That's strange. I don't know. Mine is still up. So, Paula, thanks for the buck. Thank you for the 99-cent super sticker. And last but not least, I took in Accutane when I was younger. Can confirm it will split your lips. Wow. See, this is something I need to know. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you. And another I used 2012 and 2013 synonymously. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you so much for everything. I am redirecting you. Wendy says, can one of you do a video on HIPAA for those of us outside the law? Yes, uncivil law is probably you're probably the best one to do that because you actually go through everything like methodically. So yes. Thank you. Uncivil law.
Yeah. So as soon as this stream is over, hopefully it will automatically redirect you to my stream.
Yes.
If not, you can check it out, and we're going to do this 23 minute response thing to Dateline. Should be fairly hilarious. Looking forward to responding with you soon.
Don't respond to my other video. Don't respond. That's my video. You're going to be responding to my video. Don't do it, Dad.
Okay. Yeah.
You're going to do it. You're going to.
Yeah, a little bit.
I shouldn't have let you see any of it. I should have been like, no, I'm going to do it my own. This is not going to be anything for you.
That's a good idea. That's my idea now. I like to point out that copyright does not apply to ideas. So. Yoink!
I hate you. This is why I hate him. I hate him. All right. So listen. I'm redirecting the stream now. So you guys. So when I go off, you guys should have it.
Hopefully.
Boop. Yep. You guys. All right. We're good. Saving the changes. So redirect is on. Link is there. Let's read through these last couple of super chats before we get out of here. We're going to do one last quick reaction, and then we are gone. So here we go. Can someone do a video on HIPAA? We just read that. I meant Dr. Curry was giving a diagnosis, yes, and evaluated her in person, yes. So did Dr. Hughes, though, just to be clear. So more of Curry's testimony was not as much hearsay. Facts. Very good, Beth. Yes. Beth, you just fact-checked me in real time. You're 100% correct. I was wrong. Thank you, Beth. And there was one more that came up. McMichaels says, y'all, I'm telling you, the actual all-day trial videos are not playing for any of what? All right, I'm gonna check that out.
YouTube has been having some problems recently, so it could just be a YouTube issue. Because I've noticed this recently, where they all channels YouTube wide were having problems, and so it could just be a YouTube thing.
All right, so here we go. So let's do a little bit more of this before we get out of here, and you guys are redirected. Here we go. We got a couple of more responses. Next, she'll say that the DV started on their first date. Yeah.
Before the first date.
She's pushing it back. Before they met.
My dog stepped on a bee. We went to the vet.
It was a performance abuse. And everything going on.
My dog stepped on a bee. We went to the vet.
It was a performance.
He ain't lying.
The performance of her life.
More than anything, I was heartbroken. I thought maybe he was serious. I thought maybe, God, he doesn't love me. Maybe he really feels this way about my heart. Broke my heart. I was so bad. This is the man I loved, Yes, it was awful at times, but I loved him. And what he
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
Overruled.
As of today,
here we go.
You have not paid $3.5 million of your own money to the ACLU.
Don't panic.
Yes or no?
I have not yet.
And as of today, you have not paid $3.5 million of your own money to the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, correct?
I have not yet. Johnny sued me.
How many do I get? 0. So as of today, you have not paid $7 million of your divorce settlement to charity, right?
I have not been able to fulfill those obligations yet.
I am dead inside.
Your Honor, I move to admit the statement and the article as redacted.
Objection, hearsay.
Oh my God. It's her statement.
This is not her statement.
She just testified, Your Honor, that it's her statement.
May I see the full?
Everything else is redacted.
Okay, then I have no objection.
All right, 1259 in evidence as redacted.
Whoops.
I'm gonna go home. You may have noticed that no one showed up for Ms. Heard in this courtroom other than her sister. Every other witness who traveled to Virginia for her was a paid expert.
Reach it, Camille.
This is a woman who burns bridges. Her close friends don't show up for her.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it.
What, if any,
I'm so sick of this bitch.
you were asked if you had, it was suggested that you had not produced this in discovery. Is that true?
Objection, Your Honor.
Leading.
Your Honor,
Are you kidding me right now?
It's leading. It is leading question now. Sustain the objection is leading.
Do you know how many were handed over?
Hundreds of thousands, I believe. Maybe.
Objection, Your Honor.
Lack of foundation.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
And what, if anything, did you produce to the plaintiff in connection with your consultation with an ENT specialist relating to your nose?
Objection, leading.
Sustain.
Foundation, hearsay.
What if anything? It's not the cure-all. It's sustained.
What if anything is not the cure-all?
I'm gonna go home.
#annoying.
And as a result of that consultation, what did you learn about your nose?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
I'm not asking her to tell what they said.
Yeah, I'll sustain the objection.
Left with nothing to say.
What, if any, production did you make to the plaintiffs of your medical records with the ENT?
Objection, Your Honor, lack of foundation.
What the hell we gonna do now?
If you only have foundation.
Do you know whether the medical records from your EMT were produced in discovery?
Objection, Your Honor.
Lack of foundation calls for speculation.
I'm
I'll
asking.
rule if she knows.
Thank you.
Wow. Elaine, it's so bad.
How much more do I have this? 12 more minutes of this?
Yeah. Oh my God, you got so much more. That's it, because I skipped around too. We didn't even get the whole thing. Last super chat before we get out of here. The records are typically released to a specific person for a specific purpose. What are the chances that a therapist is a bit shocked and mad that these notes ended up on Dateline? But the notes are really, they are Amber's notes. The privilege isn't with the therapist; it's actually with the patient. So if the patients want to release those notes, they can. Unfortunately, the therapist really can't do anything. That's a good question, Patricia. Thank you, and thank you, Sharon. I will definitely check out the handwriting analysis. For anything more, we're about to end this stream. Don't forget, you don't really have to do anything. Uncivil Laws video is going to come up next naturally, because it's going to be up next. You're going to be redirected. You could join me later tonight or tomorrow for the full 1 hour video. Uncivil Law is doing right now the first 30-minute preview, or the first half hour of the interview. So with that said, my name is Nate the Lawyer. Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and I will see you either later tonight or